Back here, we're learning more details after the deadly shooting last week involving two St. Louis County deputies. Officials have now released the name of the man who died and the law enforcement officers who fired their weapons. The Minnesota BCA reports 30-year-old Donald Felver III of Duluth died in the shooting on Grand Avenue last Tuesday. The BCA also identified the two sheriff's deputies that fired their weapon. They are Sergeant Joshua Burnt, who has 19 years of law enforcement experience, and Deputy Matthew Subzak, who has 16 years of experience. According to the BCA's preliminary investigation, around 9:45 Tuesday night, St. Louis County deputies were trying to stop an erratic driver on Grand Avenue. Felver, who we now know was the driver, fled and authorities chased him. During the pursuit, Sergeant Burnt stopped the vehicle using a pit maneuver near 79th Avenue West. And according to the BCA's investigation, both law enforcement officials made verbal commands to Felver as they approached his car. Gunshots were then fired from inside the vehicle toward the deputies, according to the BCA. Both the sergeant and deputy fired back, hitting Felver, who was the only person in the vehicle. Felver died at the scene. No deputies were injured. The BCA is now investigating and will present its findings to the county attorney's office for review. Both deputies are on critical incident leave. And as we have previously reported, Duluth police said Felver was the suspect in another shooting that day. 33-year-old Darius Handy was killed on Piedmont Avenue around 4 Tuesday afternoon. Authorities say the deputies did not know Felver was the suspect in that incident at the time of the shooting on Grand Avenue. Duluth police have not shared a possible motive for the Piedmont Avenue shooting, but they do say that Handy and Felver knew each other. After the fatal shooting of Alex Preddy in Minneapolis, the FBI has officially decided not to share evidence with the state of Minnesota. Preddy was shot and killed by federal agents on January 24th. And today, in a statement, BCA Superintendent Drew Evans said the agency will continue to investigate even if they aren't allowed access to the evidence. He said the BCA is willing and ready to work with the FBI if the Department of Justice ends up changing its stance. And meanwhile, thousands rallied in the Twin Cities today and marched in remembrance of the lives lost during Operation Metro Surge. Those marching are also calling for all federal agents to leave Minnesota. White House Border Czar Tom Homan announced last Thursday that Operation Metro Surge would be coming to an end. He said that a small number of federal agents will stick around to provide security in the field.